Hi there, I'm Father Ken,
And I'm Leslie.
and we're going to start telling Bible stories that you may or may not be familiar with. And
Today, we're going to begin with the story of Jonah.
there it is. So let's get started. So, Les, why don't you summarize the story of Jonah for us?
I'd love to. Okay, well, Jonah was a prophet. He was an angry prophet. Some might call him self-righteous, maybe even arrogant. So Jonah was called by God to go to a place called Nineveh to tell the people of Nineveh that they needed to get their act together because they were doing all kinds of bad things. But Jonah had other plans. He said, you know what? I don't even want to get involved in these people. So he set sail for a place called Tarshish. But on the way, he met with a storm, and he was ultimately tossed overboard. And God spared him and helped him. And as a lot of you know, that Jonah ended up in the belly of a whale. And so the whale took Jonah back to close to the area of Nineveh and spit him out. And so Jonah went from there. He walked for a while to get to the Ninevites. And what he did was he preached a very short sermon to the Ninevites, and they changed their ways. It was amazing. You'd think Jonah would be happy, right?
You would think.
Yeah, but he wasn't. No, he was angry. So he started to pout. And he went off in the desert, and he got really, really hot. And God grew a tree for him while he was sleeping at night. It was a vine, really, with big leaves. And that was awesome. And Jonah was happy momentarily until a worm came along and ate his plant. And this really blistering heat came across, and Jonah was angry again. So we're kind of left with not a whole lot at the end of this.
Yeah.
And maybe we can talk a little bit more about that, I guess.
Yeah, you did a great summarization, but let's go back and fill in some of the spots. What happened when he got on the boat and was heading to Tarshish? What happened there?
Well, he got on a boat with sailors who were actually pagans. And when he got on the boat, God's like, no, this isn't happening. So you have to understand, like, Jonah got on this boat, and he was going about 2,000 miles as far as he could go west to get away from God. He was trying to run from God. And none of us ever do that.
No.
And so, again, God had other plans. But so Jonah fell asleep on this boat, in the hull of this boat, and winds came and everything was really choppy. And the sailors that were on the boat, started praying to their own gods. And they realized that Jonah was the cause of this storm. So they went down and into the hull where Jonah happened to be sleeping, and they got him and they threw him overboard. And the really cool thing is they started to worship the God of Israel. That's pretty cool.
Evangelism at its best.
It was, because that wasn't part of the plan, at least that we knew of. So Jonah was unhappy again, and he felt that God had forsaken him. But God had plans. He came along with a fish, a big fish, and the fish swallowed Jonah up. And
what do you think it was like being in the belly or the stomach of a big fish like that? Some call it a whale. Big fish, whale. So what do you think it's like in there? Slimy?
Ooh, it would be really slimy. It would smell horrible. Yeah. If you've ever been on the dock, if you've ever gone fishing before,
fish heads,
and you're on the dock and it just smells so bad, and it would be really dark, so scary, and maybe you can hear the breathing and the heartbeat. Oh, it's not a place I want to be.
He was in there for what, 3 days?
Yeah.
What do you think he did in 3 days? Those 3 days.
Well, from what I read, he said a prayer. Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yep.
I'll read you that prayer. And that prayer went like this. I'm reading it from the Message Bible. Seems a little easier to understand. Jonah said, "In trouble, deep trouble, I prayed to God. He answered me. From the belly of the grave I cried, 'Help!' You heard my cry. You threw me into the ocean's depths, into a watery grave, with ocean waves, ocean breakers crashing over me. I said, I've been thrown away, thrown out of your sight. I'll never again lay eyes on your holy temple. Ocean gripped me by the throat. The ancient abyss grabbed me and held me tight. My head was all tangled in seaweed at the bottom of the sea where the mountains take root. I was as far down as a body can go, and the gates were slamming shut behind me forever. You pulled me up from the grave, alive, O God, my God. When my life was slipping away, I remembered God, and my prayer got through to you, made it all the way to your holy temple. Those who worship hollow gods, God frauds, walk away from their only true love. But I'm worshiping you, God, calling out in thanksgiving, and I'll do what I promised I'll do. Salvation belongs to God. And then it happened. The big fish vomited Jonah up on the shore near Nineveh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Can you elaborate what happened after that, after he pulled off all the seaweed and Jonah?
Yeah, and hopefully he took a shower or something. So he was about anywhere between 1 and 3 days away from Nineveh. It's kind of confusing. You get different interpretations. But he had to walk to Nineveh. And ultimately when he got there, he preached to them like 5 words worth of preaching. Like, get your act together. Your act together, people. But here's the cool thing. You want to know what happened?
What?
They did.
Cool.
They really did.
And that's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
Okay, so Jonah did what God wanted him to do. What did the people of Nineveh do in response to Jonah's message?
Well, the people repented. They wore burlap, and the king made this decree that everybody's going to wear burlap, and they were going to fast, even the animals. So you'd think Jonah would be really happy. Like his 5-word message worked. Do you think he was happy? No.
When you say 5 words, you mean it's 5 words in Hebrew, right? And about 7 or 8 words in
About that.
English.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just so you don't get confused there.
Yeah.
So Jonah did this, and the people wore the burlap. Was God happy?
God was happy, but Jonah wasn't happy. You see, Jonah didn't expect them to repent. He thought he already had it all signed, sealed, and delivered, that they weren't good people. And really what was interesting is at the end of the day, we have to wonder if Jonah even wanted those people to be saved.
Yeah. Okay, so Jonah did what God said.
Mm-hmm.
People listened. People changed their ways.
Yeah.
God forgave them and didn't destroy them. But Jonah's mad.
Jonah's so angry.
How does that even make sense?
Well, he didn't get his way. He didn't like these people to begin with. They were enemies. So what he did was he went and he pouted. And he went and sat in the desert in the mud. No, probably not the mud, but the dirt. And it was hot. It was really hot. So he's whining again. Please just kill me. He said that a few times along the way. And he fell asleep, and God grew a vine. And the vine had big leaves on it. So Jonah, 2 people with a boat, Jonah was able to be protected from the sun. And then that made him happy.
Mm-hmm.
Until the worm came along. Yes, then God created a worm that came and ate the vine. And then there's Jonah sitting there. I just picture him sitting there all angry again.
Just kill me.
That's right. So the hot winds are coming. There is no relief here. So what does Jonah do? He said, just kill me.
Just kill me.
Right?
Mm-hmm. I don't deserve to live. Just kill me.
Right.
I'd be better off dead. Poor me.
What do you think God said?
Something like, what gives you the right? You were happy and then sad overnight, but you don't want me to be sad and then happy overnight because of the Ninevites?
Sure.
Changing their way and
Yeah, like God questioned, like, I can't change. You can change your mind, but I can't change mine.
And the story kind of ends there. So I guess the question would be, what do you think we should get out of that?
I think one thing we should get out of it is, how often do we think that the people that we don't like, our enemies, don't deserve God's love and kindness and forgiveness? Mm-hmm. So I think there's a little bit of Jonah in all of us. And I think the key is for us to question ourselves when we have that hard heart and say, how much like Jonah am I?
Very well put. So remember the commandments: love God above all and love your neighbor as yourself. Hey, join us next time when we talk about, I think coming up is the road to Damascus.
That's right.
And that'll be the first Sunday of every month that we do a Bible story. So tell your friends to come to wherever it's showing up on the screen, to this site or to Facebook or to YouTube. And we'll be there. Okay, and until then, God bless you and have a great week.